Alright, so for today's London session, let's see what do we have. On the daily chart, you can see that we are reaching for these equal highs up here. But I want to focus on something that is more important for today. Even though we are bullish on the daily time frames, I do not like how on Wednesday we took out Tuesday's highs and lows, because this is an indication that maybe Thursday it wants to perform seek and destroy, right? So after we take out this liquidity here above, this to me is external liquidity. I would like to see if ES is able to take out Thursday's high, and or if there is any SMTs above above yesterday's high. Sorry, ES would be taking out previous day's high. I want to see if there's any SMT with the previous day's high against NQ. Ultimately, if you look at the lows down here and here, they look relatively equal, and for now we are above the weekly open. Thursdays are usually known for reversals. On Wednesday we took out Tuesday's high and Tuesday's low, so there's a high possibility that we are going to take out Wednesday's high, and then we're going to move into Wednesday's low, due to the fact that it's one of the characteristic of seek and destroy profile. Right, so I'll be watching and waiting. Three o'clock is the time when you get the Judas swing, right? So between 2 to 3, that is usually the time whereby Judas swings happens. And let's see if this is true for today. This right here is a possible rejection block for ES on the weekly time frame, but I'm not going to put in too much details here. I'm probably just going to put on a fib here, NQ, it would be this one. Let's see if it has any strength to get into this rejection block right here, other than the daily equal highs. The other thing to note is that for this wick itself, I mean, if you take a look at this candle, it didn't really have a discount wick. It opened up at 463.5 and the low was 463. So it's like 0.5 points manipulation based on this current candle itself, right? And for NQ, the opening price is 18589.5 and this is 18589.5 as well. So there is no wicks for this candle on NQ. To me, this is a little bit suspicious. Therefore, I think that eventually we are going to come back down here into this candle's low to form a discount wick. I mean, not to form this candle's discount wick, but it's going to print something below this opening price here, similar to how this candle was formed as well, this particular candle and this candle, right? Look at the candles without the wicks. I mean, for the rest it would be glitches due to the fact that we are right now in the December contract and I am in the December contract chart. I am not on the continuous contract chart. If you are on the continuous contract chart, you would have seen that ES has taken out all-time highs. NQ is reaching for this weekly fair value gap and it's trading right here. So let's see. The highest high among these equal highs is 29 August. And we have tagged the high at 3 a.m. If it does not trade lower, like a reversal type of move, then I would not have any trades because I'm not comfortable chasing the price like this, especially when it's above the daily open. I don't like it because I am usually trading off the 5 minutes and the 15 minutes chart. Therefore, it would be best if I can have an entry below the daily open if I am bullish, or even at least below the midnight open, which is right here. But since right now the price is currently above midnight and above the daily, I have no interest in going longs right here. We are in a very deep premium. That's how I feel. And if we open up higher, like way up here, switch it over to the RDH, we're going to have a very large opening gap. So that could be utilized in the AM session as well if we are to leave it open like this. Right now price is here and the last close is right down here. So that's a lot of points. Now ICT says that if we have more than 200 points of difference of range within the opening gap, that could mean that the market wants to continue higher. So before the opening, 9:30's opening, if I'm looking for reversals back into Wednesday's low, I would like to see the gap not be greater than 200. So right now what I'm waiting for is a displacement towards the downside. I don't like how it's just a small little step into the external liquidity. I would prefer a deeper step if I'm going to trust this as the turtle soup. Turtle soup on the 6 hours chart. So it would be something like this. Step the highs and reverse. This is the turtle soup up here. So if it is going to be a turtle soup, I would love to see energetic price runs above these highs, like a deep step above these highs, maybe into, let's take a look at the fair value gap over here. 50% consequent encroachment of the fair value gap, that would be great before any reversal setups, before forming any reversal setups. Right, so let's see. At the same time, right here on the 6 hours chart, you can see that during the Asia session, we have a rather large expansion candle. So I don't really anticipate too much action during the London. What I'm looking for is, if London is going to have a large range expansion, I want to see it towards the downside. And if it continues to gravitate higher, during today's PM session, I think that would be the best trading session, because during that time we could see an SMT between the New York AM versus the New York PM. So when SMT is present between these two on the highs, then that would be a very good time to look for reversal setups. So for right now, I don't really have high expectations. Let's wait and see. Another scenario would be if we stay up this high into the New York session, which is the next candle from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. That New York candle could form SMT on the highs as well against London's high, and then we could reverse back down into Asia's low. And if we are even going to trade into Asia's low, then this lows would be next, especially Monday's low. But let's not put too much conviction into my analysis here, because price is still showing me bullish order flow. So I'm going to stick to that until something changes. For FOMC, unfortunately, we don't have SMT on the lows, nor do we have SMT on the highs yet. But because we are trading near the highs, SMT on the highs are much more likely to form as compared to SMT on the lows, because we have already left the lows for FOMC. Okay. I'm just trying to form a bias and trying to justify for myself why I'm looking for shorts during the London session. Alright, let's mark out the midnight open. At the same time, we are above the weekly open. As you can see right here, we are really high up above for ES. And we are also above Tuesday's high, right? So why is Tuesday's high important? Because that is the true week open. So normally, if you are going to anticipate the weekly range, you would best look for longs below the true week open or shorts above the true week open. So Tuesday's opening price is here, right here, for ES. So we are way above it. For NQ, it's here. We are at the same time way above it. And because I'm trading off the daily time frame, I mean daily candlestick, I would prefer to use 15 minutes as my gauge of order flow. If we are able to close below this up close candle here, I would like to see price for the subsequent candles respect this up close candle, because we do have a bullish fair value gap here. Right, so the scenario now is, as long as we stay above or within this fair value gap on the body closing, or how would I say, on a closing basis of the candles, I would not be bearish. Right, so as long as we can close below this fair value gap, I will see this fair value gap as an inversion fair value gap. It's the same thing applied for ES as well. Let's take a look at Euro. Not that I'm trading it, but I'm just curious to see what has the interest rate announcements affect. How is it affecting euro dollar? By right, it should push up the euro dollar, which is what it did. On the monthly candle, we took out previous month's high. We are in week 3 of the month. Week 3, week 2, week 1. Manipulation, distribution. Right now, what I want to see is if we continue to distribute higher or it wants to fall back off. It's a little bit hard to tell right here. The weekly candle, I don't like its formation. Is there any SMTs? Oh, what's the pound? No SMT, no SMTs on the recent highs, but SMT above this high. Dollar. What? Huh. Can't really see it like this, but okay. Never mind, let's head back to ES. Right, I like this price action here. We are trading very deep into this fair value gap. This is the first characteristic that I want to see if I'm bearish on the highs. Let's take a look at the 5 minutes. We are closing below this swing low here. High, low, higher high. This 2 down close candles is your breaker for ES. Let's see if it wants to do that. This is the original consolidation that led to this move higher. Over here on NQ it's not that clear, but we do have high, low, higher high. This could be a breaker as well, but it's quite far. from the breaker if we are to print a fair value gap down here on a 5 minutes. Wouldn't be too sure if I want to use the 5 minutes as my entry, but let's see. Let's see if it forms that fair value gap, and if it forms, I might need to drop down into the 1 minute time frame. Personally, I would like to see one more stop hunt above this high. I don't really like how it's just stabbing in just a little bit like this. Right, so if there is no fair value gap here, it's also indicative of how we might want to reverse and take out this high and this to be treated as stop hunts on the lower time frames. Right, so we have closed below the breaker. Price is not entirely respecting the breaker. Take a look at the range. It's trading into the upper quadrant of the breaker. Let's wait for the close. It's closing right at the mean threshold of the breaker. So if I were to go down into the 1 minute, this right here, equal lows, is the stop hunt. This candle here, down close candle, is the potential order block to send the price higher into this high. But I'm not interested in this trade as I have mentioned before at the start of the stream, I'm looking for shorts, I'm not looking for longs. On the 3 minutes, we have traded up into a fair value gap, but look at how far the wick is reaching into. It's not almost, but it's overlapping the entire fair value gap here. It's not something that you really want to see if you're bearish, because you want to see part of the gap left open. Best case scenario. Okay. On NQ, there's this tiny little fair value gap right here. If we trade and close below this fair value gap, midnight open is the draw on liquidity. For ES, we traded all the way down into the last down close candle here. Let's see if we have a 1 minute SMT here with ES and NQ. If you're bearish, that's what you want to see. S&P on the highs, and then we trade below this. That would be a perfect inversion fair value gap setup into midnight's low. No SMT, no trades. Taking out this swing low might prove to be sufficient if there's a fair value gap. ES was the one that made the higher high, but you look at ES, even though it's making the lower high, it is not displacing as much as NQ. So to me, this is one red flag. It's something that I don't really want to see because it's not moving in sync. So NQ took out this low, whereas ES did not do so. The low right here. If you look at the bodies, this is a swing low. We are spending a little bit too long within the fair value gap on the 3 minutes. Right here, this fair value gap and this fair value gap for NQ. We have closed 3 candles within the fair value gap. If it does not displace on this candle here, then I think it's gonna do something like this. If you have watched ICT's latest live stream, this is what he calls it, the algorithm in a buy program. It just grinds up higher into the objective that it's looking for, and that this right here is not fun to trade. Right, so we have a displacement for NQ, another displacement for ES. Now I am interested in midnight's opening price, which is this low right here, and this original consolidation down here. I prefer the short ES because it's the one that is more bearish. So let's see if I can get any entries on ES. I would love to short it up here. For NQ, I need a fair value gap. Let's take a look at the 15 minutes. Alright, so over here we have completely closed out, or should I say traded below this supposed bullish fair value gap. We have closed on the low end. So to me, any price retracements into this 15 minutes fair value gap is a shorting opportunity, and stops should be any PD arrays above that particular inversion fair value gap. Right, so let's see if we get that. If we start to trade above this swing low here, on body closing basis, I wouldn't be too interested. If you take a look at the 3 minutes, we are forming a fair value gap right here. That is where I would like to enter my positions, and I would like to see this candle close below this swing low. Right, I'm gonna use this 3.25 risk.
Order filled.
I would like to see part of this left open. I don't want to see this candle fully overlap this fair value gap here. This is the last straw. If it closes above the wick, it's probably going to run for my stops. .5 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. I don't like the close here, but still staying within. But look at NQ. It's closing above this inversion fair value gap here. Unless it's trying to tell me that it's trading out into this fair value gap, this old fair value gap. But right now, my stop here is low probability. We have even closed above the mean threshold of this up close candle, which should be a bearish order block if it is going to trade lower. I'll just let it stop me out, if anything. So if you take a look at this fair value gap, and this fair value gap right here, there you go for NQ, stopped out. ES as well. It's trading into the rejection block of this swing high. Bodies are within the 15 minutes. For ES, it's closing as well. It's closing above the consequent encroachment as well. But this drop lower here, it's not very clean. It didn't reach into the fair value gap, nor did it respect the wick. Probably high resistance. Let's see. Right now you have possible SMT. I'm watching this fair value gap here to see if it wants to utilize this fair value gap to send the price higher. Yep, so the thing over here is, I think this swing low here, when price is closing above, I could improve on this. I could wait for a closing price below this swing low before taking any entries up here, because I recalled at the point of time I did not like what I see here. The body is not closing below the swing low, which makes it very tricky for price to want to continue to gravitate lower in or with a low resistance delivery. So right now you can see right here we have utilized the fair value gap to trade higher. I'm contemplating if I want to get in right here to look for this high, but it's not in my direction. So for me, I would rather just wait it out. Yep, let's wait it out and see what happens later on. Not in a hurry. I'll be on the stream until 4:30. So if I don't get anything by then it's just too bad. Right now we are approaching the 350 macro. Judging off from the price action here, I think that ES is going to run for this high. This is the FOMC highs. If you look at the 3 minutes, you have this inverse fair value gap for ES, and you have this fair value gap for NQ. This swing low, in my opinion, should not be traded to. Similar for ES. At most I can see it coming back down into 50% of this wick right here. Similar for ES. This candle's wick. 50%, I think that is permissible. But because of this IOFED right here, to me it's telling me that it wants to expand higher with speed. So it might not even trade into this 50% of this wick here. And for ES, right here, it could be an immediate rebalance. Once ES touches the inverse fair value gap, if it ever wants to, I would like to see it expand higher. That is if. Alright, so let me just mark out previous day's high for ES. Okay, right up here. It is taking a little bit too long for my liking in terms of the time that it took that it is taking to reach for this high right here. Right, so the soft invalidation, if it is going to occur, would be a closing price below this inversion fair value gap right here. So this will be close below invalidation. This is the first inside candle within this candle. This would be the second inside candle within this candle. Therefore, this candle here needs to expand away from this candle here. If we get another inside candle within this candle, it's probably going to take longer for like accumulation and such, and that also means that, okay, we have cleared the highs. That also means that we could be in a high resistance liquidity run, but since that it has cleared this candle's high, I think we're ready to run. I don't really want to see this candle closing back below this high. I would like to see a closing price above this high, closing candle body above this high. Similar for ES if it is going to run for yesterday's high. Okay, so right now it's a waiting game to see if ES runs this high, or does it want to reverse lower. After all, we are in the highs. Let's take a look at the close. Yes, we are closing above this high. That is a good signature. that we are probably going to keep running higher. For NQ, that would be the 50% here. Yep, we hit it. The next objective would be this one right here. This is 4-hour candle. This 4-hour fair value gap. From this candle's low to this candle's high, fair value gap with the volume imbalance here. So let's see if we can go on into the 75%. I'm going to remove this wick here. It looks a little bit too much in terms of lines. Right, so we are indeed trading up into that level. For NQ, the wick should support the price if it ever drops back into the wick. For ES, I don't really want to see it trade back into the wick. So let's see. I want the wick to be left open, because we're really near to yesterday's high. On the 3 minutes, you can see that there is a fair value gap here. Right now, ES has tagged the wick. This is not something that I want to see. It could fail right here, based on the current price action. If we close below this consecutive up close candles, this is a potential bearish order block. I still like this lows here. So if you're seeing this as quarterly theory, you can divide up the London session. Okay. So right now we are above midnight open. This is accumulation. I mean, during Q1 we have accumulation. Q2 we have expansion. And Q3 we have further expansion. So right now all I have to do is to wait for Q4 to provide the SMT on the highs. That would be a green flag to look for shorts, which would be at around 430. If I don't get that and it starts to drift lower, I don't have a choice too. I'll have to use any bearish PD raise available during Q3 to short it back into Q1's low, or should I say Q2's low. Q2 formed a low right here. It may sound like I am obsessed with shorting right now, but that is also because we are in premium. I don't like to buy in premiums. And when I see this price action here, I tend to look for reasons to short, because I am kind of like a contrarian. That's how I would like to or prefer to analyze the price instead of chasing. And I like to buy below opening prices and sell above opening prices. What's the low of this candle? Right on the high. Look at the low for NQ. 50% of the wick. It's losing its energy for NQ. Because this candle came down all the way into the previous candle's high. Right, so if you are anticipating expansions, you like this, leaving a lot of gaps and not very deep retracements, these price signatures tells you that we are going to expand higher. So we are not getting that here. And when you have multiple wicks, this is a signature of high resistance liquidity runs on the lower time frames. Just another 23 minutes to go. Please don't fall off the bed right now. If you look at the 3 minutes, it's actually forming SMT. Look at the highs here and here. Let me remove this. Keep it simple. This fibs as well. It's no longer important. And probably this week as well. I mean the fibs. So as little things as possible on the charts, that would make things very clear. No, please don't give up the ghost now. Because I can't trust the highs. I would much rather session highs, I mean quarter highs, to attack this original consolidation. But I think once we gap below this swing low, it's a go signal to look for shorts down here if there's no SMT highs. But if there's SMT highs between this Q3 and Q4, well, that would be the best, because I would be able to look for an entry near the highs, and my stops would be slightly smaller. So for this quarter here, you can see that we have SMT. Let's take a look at the 5 minutes. No, I prefer the 3 minutes. Usually I prefer the 3 minutes over the 5. So over here, you can see that the lowest body for Asia is this one. And the lowest body for, I mean not Asia, for Q1 is this one. And for Q2, it's this one. Have a compare and contrast with ES. The lowest body is this one, and it's 130, right? So after 130, it's this one, sorry, it's this one and this one. So the one that separates is 130. Yep, can you see the bodies? So this is SMT, accumulation, manipulation. Usually for manipulations you want to see SMT and then your distribution higher. This is one very good example that I'm looking for between Q3 and Q4. Okay, at the same time it's below midnight opening price. Can you see? And if you are using the quarterlies, 130 is your true open. This is all from Trader Day's quarterly theory. I'm incorporating it with ICT concepts. Alright, it's also based around time, so far it has worked out nice for me. And at the same time I am using all the free stuff that he has provided, so I didn't pay for his mentorship or anything like that, right? So let's see if we have that between Q3 and Q4. Looking forward, we should attack this highs here, previous day's high for ES, before 4:30. That should be the cutoff time. Okay, let's do the similar markings here. What you're doing is basically splitting up the 6-hour candle into four parts, just as how you would split up the week from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Friday usually follows the Thursday's price action until a certain point. Okay, so it all depends on context, which is why you have that TGIF set up for Friday. That is the retracements of the weekly candles. So that for that to happen, you need to have context. Like, for example, if the higher time frame PRAs has been met, or if it has, basically that. And if it hasn't, then you don't expect TGIF. You expect Friday to continue towards the higher time frame objectives if it has not been met during Thursday. NQ is getting sloppy. It's losing its energy. And let us take a look at the projections for fun. Where is it? The projections is from who's that? Trader Dexter. Utilizing the last order block here that took out the lows right here. Not too clear for this. Yeah, not too clear for this one. I wouldn't say it's perfect for his projections. Sometimes it doesn't really work, or maybe I'm anchoring the wrong way because I'm using only the free stuff that it has put out. So I don't really use his projections too much or too often. The quarterly theory is the one that I use the most often with ICT. Yes, it's starting to fizzle out as well, right? Because as we approach the higher time frame PDRA, this is the previous day's high, FOMC high. We should engage it with speed, but right now ES is showing a lot of retracements, so to speak. Which is not something that you would really want to see. 5 minutes. On the 3 minutes, this down close candle here is the order block that should support the price higher. Right here, as you can see, 25% and 50%. The 50% should be respected. So you don't even want to see any bodies closing below 25%, that would be the best. And if you do, you don't want to see anybody's closing below 50%. If it closes below 50%, things are not looking too good, and you would be only left with the wick to defend this low here. I don't think this low should be purged before we take out the previous day's high, but it can happen too. Okay, I'm not ruling out the possibility of it doing so. We are in the last 15 minutes candle before 4:30. NQ is breaking hearts. Look at how many stop losses it has taken. 1 and 2. I don't really want to see ES leaving out this high here. Now, just to be clear, Q4 doesn't need to reverse. It can consolidate. Okay? Reversal is what I'm looking for, but it can consolidate. After all, we do have 8:30 news later on, so it might want to utilize the news to take it higher above the swing high, since we have left the highs here. And if that's the case, I can't expect price to trade down here and then the news trades back up. It doesn't work like that. I mean, I don't think it works like that, right? So at most we trade back into the range formed in Q3, like we meandering around here, and then during the 8:30 news we pump it up and then we reverse lower. Okay, that's what I can think of. There is nothing that I can see on a 1 hour or even on the higher term frames to be sure about anything in particular. So I have to adopt to wait and see. NQ is trading right back into the breaker. Right here. This is the breaker. At this point in time, you can anticipate which asset is going to form the lower high. If we are going to reverse, definitely it's going to be NQ. So it's better to short NQ as compared to ES. Later on, what I meant. Let me use a lighter color. Look at ES right now. Taking out this low and then reversing higher. That's gonna break a lot of shorts up here. But if you take a look at the 15 minutes, you'll see why this is possible, because we have a 15 minutes fair value gap right below this low here, the small little fair value gap that took out this high, right? In another minute or so, this candle here will close, and if it closes below 50%, we're going for this low. Just when I said it. Good direction there. Yes, please run for the highs. Please run for the highs at 4:30, and that would be a fantastic SMT. Now look at NQ here. We have relative equal lows that might be left for later on. Let's see. Another thing is, instead of using the breaker, you can use the down close candles. I think the down close candles, basically the order block, is it's a much better gauge. Right here, as you can see, 25%. So I think it's a much better gauge as compared to the breaker. So if I were to just use the body, it's not that, it's not that perfect, but the order block here, which is why I employ this as my model. I always enter off order blocks. Here, look at the precision here. Insane. Alright, it's 4:30. Time to run for those highs. And for NQ, because we have closed below this consecutive up close candles, there is always a potential that it could just trade up into the 75% and then falls off, and that could totally happen. Okay, because you're not expecting NQ to make a higher high. We are expecting NQ to make a lower high. Right, so in the case of order blocks, if you have utilized this order block as well, let's just say, for example, okay, after SMT, look at the position here, and if you use ES, right here, there's no fair value gaps in this case. If there is a fair value gap, it would be a better comparison, I would say, because right here NQ we have a fair value gap, but we still trade it into the order block, right? Same thing here. This one, even though there is a fair value gap, we still trade it into the order block. Over here we don't have it, so there would be times like this right here where I missed the entry because the order block is above the fair value gap. That is totally possible as well. Okay. Yes, please take out the high. Right, look at the bodies here. Look at where it stopped 75% of this order block. So why is this a valid order block? It was the order block that has traded into a PD array. I only use order blocks that have traded into a PD array, or order blocks that have taken out sell stops or buy stops. You don't see me referring to this order block here. You don't see me referring to this order block here, like in terms of down close candles. And for up close candles, you don't see me referring to here or any other examples. You don't see me referring order blocks to like this one. Okay, right, so for this one, you don't see me referring to order blocks over here. This is the correct one, because it is the order block that has traded into a fair value gap right here. But anyways, let's focus right now. We need to focus. So for ES low hanging fruit objectives, that would be this low here. It's the 15 minutes fair value gap, if we have any entries up here. And for NQ, I'm looking at this volume imbalance, this low and this volume imbalance. The low that made the high is always the low hanging fruit objective, and then eventually maybe we can gravitate into this original consolidation. So you have your market maker sell model. As long as NQ does not take out this high, I'm pretty confident in shorts. Okay. However, I have to say that I don't like how ES is not taking out the previous day's high. I don't like that at all. So let's see what happens. Only once ES takes out the high, previous day's high, 5,755.75, then I would be very confident in shorts. Remember what I said at the start of the stream? I'm anticipating this week to be seek and destroy, and I'm anticipating for today, since we have taken out yesterday's high, we are going to take out yesterday's low. So if we are going to do so, I would like to see the high of the day form during London, because that would enable price to have time to traverse from this high to yesterday's low, because the range is very big. Okay, so this is yesterday's high and this is yesterday's low. We are right up here. There's a lot of range. So if we were to take out yesterday's low, it has to move from London. It should not create another high and then drop during the New York session. I don't think it's gonna happen. Like, it's gonna be a really fast drop if it is going to happen that way. Okay, so by catching this high here, I may be catching the high of the week. I mean, not the high of the week, but the high of the day. But to hold on to that is another ball game. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm able to hold through the daily range, but it would be awesome. Let's go, yes. Let's go. Let's go and take out the high. It's teasing, but judging from the speed, it is indicative that we are probably not going to go very high above that high. Okay, and due to the speed and the amount of retracements that led up to the objective. Come on now. It's taking really long. Alright, now over here, as soon as we close below this this up close candle, because this is probably an up close candle, so these two consecutive up close candles will be the bearish order block. Look at NQ, 75%. Isn't it perfect? Waiting. And for high resistance, not high resistance, sorry, but for seek and destroy, usually it moves to the opposite end very, very quickly. Let me show you an example. Okay, so let's see right here. Okay, first for Wednesday, this is Tuesday's highs and lows. Okay, so how seek and destroy works, it takes out yesterday's high, the previous day's high. Okay, and look at the speed it took to get to yesterday's low. It is just one. This is the candle that took out the high. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 15 minutes candle to go for yesterday's low. But this is because of FOMC. So in an event whereby there is no news drivers, there is one at 8:30, but right now we don't have it. So in the case of that, it's gonna be quick, but at the same time it's not going to be that quick. Okay, so I am anticipating New York AM session to give that distribution lower with speed. Okay, so right here we have an up close candle. I'm waiting for price to close below this candle's low. Unless we get another down close candle and then we have another segregation, then I would use the highest order block. But if NQ takes out this high, everything will be off the table. What I've just said. Okay, which means that we are not going to see a reversal in Q4. Okay, Q4 of London. itching to sell NQ at just at 75%. But no, I have to wait. I may be wrong, so I have to wait. It's 4:44. I'm late. I may have to move away from the desk after 5. So, but I would leave the screen open. And I'll close the stream at 6 a.m. Or if NQ takes out this high right here, without forming any SMTs, of course, then I would end the stream. Okay, two scenarios here. All right, let's go. Let's go. For NQ, I am looking for price to close below this this up close candle, this low right here. Shouldn't be a problem because NQ is the weaker one. The one I'm watching closely is ES, because I need ES to provide me with the change in the state of delivery. Right, so I can't trust NQ because it's the weaker asset, but ES, it's the stronger asset. So if it is the stronger asset and it shifts bearish, then it's pretty much confirmed, right? I'd like to see where is yesterday's high for NQ is. Right here. This is yesterday's high for NQ. Well, we're way above the high, spending time above the high. As ICT mentions, the longer the time spent just above the highs, like not expanding anywhere above old highs, that is smart money accumulating. But that is from ICT. ICT says that, not me, so don't quote me on that. Asia expansion, London expansion, New York final expansion. It can only expand for 3 quarters. Okay, so let's just say if Asia expands and then London, it continues to expand higher, New York continues, New York AM session continues to expand higher, you are going to anticipate the AM session, I mean the PM session, to provide you with the best reversal profiles. I mean best reversal trades, okay, against the expansion. Alright. But there can also be a case whereby you have expansion in Asia, expansion in London, and then the New York AM provide you with the SMT on the highs. That is totally possible as well. And the SMT on the highs must be against London's high. And then you see a shift or a change in the sale of delivery, that will be the best shorts into Asia's low. in this context here, right? So I'm talking about later on. Let's just say we don't have an SMT right here, then look for New York AM session between 6 a.m. to 12 noon. It's going to provide you with the SMT, and in today's case, I think the SMT is going to be provided with the 8:30s news driver. So let's see. And then once you have the SMT, it has to be on the 15 minutes, because by the time, I mean, how I trade is that if I am referencing Asia, London, and New York AM, New York PM, I would use the 15 minutes candle. If I am referencing this one, like the 6 hours candle, I would be using the 5 minutes or the 3 minutes. And if I'm referencing the weekly candle, which means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I would be using the hourly chart. Right to the rejection block. Amazing. Last chance here for NQ to just fall off. I mean, for both assets to just fall off. Last chance. If we don't fall off, it's going to be a very high, a very wide opening range gap. I mean, from the price we have closed yesterday to the current price, wow, that's a lot of points. Now take a look. Right now, ES has this down close candle separating this green candle. So this one is the last order block. Similar to NQ, this order block has attacked the rejection block. So this is considered a stop hunt, right? So once we close below this order block, it could suggest that we have a change in the state of delivery. For ES, that would be below this up close candle. It's 4:50. If it wants to move, it's gonna move now, because it's the macro timing. So as I've shown you earlier as well, SMT is not just the wicks, it can be the candle bodies as well. So for that one you have to pay attention as well. Okay, this is also another form of SMT. Like if, let's say, you have one asset trading into the rejection block and the other asset fails to trade into the rejection block, but both assets have lower highs, that is also considered SMT. Is it going to give me the reversal? Is it going to give me the reversal? Please give me the reversal. Please provide me with a change in the state of delivery. If not, please prove to me that you're not going to reverse so that I can end the stream. I am sighing because it's boring. Let me just double confirm to see if this is a down close candle. Okay, yes it is. Can't really see from that. angle. All right. Are we getting there? Are we getting there? Okay, so for ICT, he says that once price breached the open of this outclose candle, that validates it as a bearish order block. Let's see. Because to me, I prefer the close entirely below, right? But ICT says that as long as the candle is attacking the opening price, that is valid. So let's see. The first time I tested it out, I observed it for the first time, it failed. So this is the second time, but maybe I did not employ it correctly, or should I say maybe I didn't choose the order blocks correctly, and maybe that's why it failed the first time. But let's see what happens right now. Okay, we have hit the higher time frame objectives, and in this case, if we were to just shift bearish from here, we would have SMT on the highs, so everything is aligning. So I don't see why it's going to fail if we have the advantage in our favor. Okay. It looks like I am trying to pick tops here. Okay, please just run the highs and close above the high, and that's it. I'll end the stream. Thank you. Come on. Yes, go ahead. Trade above the high and close it. Close above it, and then continue to run higher. Please. It's the macro now, but the price is not running. Maybe it's waiting for the next hourly candle. Power of 3. Maybe. Have to be cautious about that too. Ideally, it should break down. Okay, so for NQ, this candle here, I wouldn't consider it as the order block. Let's just say it closes below, because it is within this order block. So this is the bigger one, the more beefier one, as ICT would say it. So I wouldn't use this candle here as the order block, but for ES, I would use this as the order block. Okay. It's going to be 5 very soon. I would prefer it to run lower now, and then the next hour candle opens at 1 minute or so. It trades up into a PD array, and then it continues to drop. That would be the best case scenario, because in the atomy of power 3, you would always want to see wicks on both ends of the candle. You don't want to see wickless candles. That's what I meant. But it can also do something like opens up at 5, runs the high but not close above it, and then starts to run lower. That is possible as well. So the timing here is very important, in my opinion. $30 more seconds to go. Come on. Please don't give me a change in the state of delivery right now. I wouldn't be able to trust it because it's gonna open a new hourly candle. No, yes, please. Yes, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't close below. Please. Okay, good. Alright, see? This is what I meant. Alright, so this candle here, the opening price of this candle is the opening price of the 1 hour candle. So preferably you want to see it wick above to form a premium wick on top of the candle, and then it starts to print lower. Okay, you don't want to see it like just opens and then gaps lower. No, I don't like that. I don't want that. This is beautiful. But it wicked below. Okay, we are still at the opening. What I'm waiting for right now is the close. If I don't get the close, I have nothing. It could be like wicking below to send the price higher. That could be possible because this is the opening price of the 5 a.m.'s candle. And manipulations, in terms of the manipulation stage or the manipulation phase, it tends to be very quick, like what you see right here, the wick, and then after that it just expands higher. That is usually a sign of manipulation. Okay, so we might not get the SMT here. Just saying. Just saying. How long has it been? 2 hours. I've been sitting here 2 hours while getting stopped out. Hilarious. But the good thing is I only got stopped out once. Not a lot of times, but once. Come on, just trade higher already, NQ. If you're not going to tell me that you're gonna reverse, just trade higher already. I want to end the stream. It's 5. Yes, please close above that, swing high, and be done with it. Let me move on with my life, and I'll come back during the New York AM session for you. I promise I'm not gonna abandon you. Okay, let's close above the high. Okay, let's close it above. If it wicks above and then it comes back down, oh, that is beautiful. Okay, that will be beautiful. Now on the 5 a.m.'s candle, we took out the previous hourly candle's high, the 4 a.m.'s candle's high. Okay, that's the context right here. Are you going to collapse from here? Now that you are trading back into the range, you should continue to expand high. Okay, in perfect normal conditions, if we are going to expand higher and continue to expand higher, you would like to see price speed above this high. Right now, like what you saw here during the London session, you don't want to see this wick below and then close back inside the range, like what it is trying to do now, I guess. So this is not a clear sign of bullish price action, even though it has taken out sell stops. Okay. Close above the high, please. I'm so done waiting for you. Thank you. Another 1 minute. This high here. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. It's showing nothing. $50 more seconds. Oh, the 5 minutes closing above the high. Okay, but I'm on the 3 minute chart. Okay, so I'll just wait for another 30 seconds and the stream would probably end by then. What a long wait today, man. 10 more seconds. Thank you. Thank you, NQ. I waited so long for you to close above that high. Alright, thank you very much, and good luck trading later on. Have fun, and I will talk to you again later, maybe. If not, see you.